I'm bird themed? Who said? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is this true? You know what? You're also bird themed. Desmond is named after Deneb, a star from Cygnus, aka Swan constellation. First of all, I don't know where you're getting that information. I was never told anything about that. But let's just say it's true. What does that mean? Deneb is a first magnitude star in the constellation of Cygnus, the Swan. No. I'm getting Ichigo'd, bro. The whole time I was a bird. My glove cloak does kind of look like it is kind of like a peacock situation, I guess. No, I'm a bird. This can't be. Okay, but that's a stretch. Deneb to Desmond. Altair is Altair. I don't know. You could just say that. How do I know that's a star? Okay, it's a star. I mean, we are hollow stars. Vega, Altair, and Sirius. If that's true, then it has to be true for Vanguard because it can't be true for just one of us because that would be cringe. Flaon is... What is this? Procyon? That's a stretch. Betel is... Wait, Betelgeuse? I didn't even know that was a star. Is that true? My God. The super red giant of spectral type M12 and one of the largest stars visible to the naked eye? What is my star? Deneb. Summer Triangle. Deneb, Vega, and Altair. I'm the Swan. No, I'm a constellation of Cygnus and Cygnus is a swan, but Deneb is just a small star within Cygnus. Well, swans are different. They're not birds. The swan is like a duck. It's like a big water duck. They don't fly in the air, beaming their vision, capturing your data, scanning your face, beaming it up. No, they don't fly. They're water birds. Why would they be in the water if they could fly? No, I'm not laying no eggs. I ain't no bird. I refuse. If anything, I'm more like a squid. If you were to call me a creature, I would be a squid. These are not wings. See, look at me. Look, I'm all squid-like. I ain't laying no eggs. I'm against egg laying. Also, that's suspicious. What, you're telling me birds come out of eggs? Birds lay eggs and fish lay eggs? Come on, what's going on here? Huh? What's going on here exactly? Squid eggs? Okay, but squids are fish. That makes sense for squids to lay eggs. They're fish. But ask yourself this. Why is a living creature on Earth, outside of the water, that has warm blood and a brain and with bones and stuff, why are they laying eggs? I think that's the real weird thing. Elephants don't lay eggs, so what's up with that? Yeah, but snakes are all reptile-y and they got scales. It's almost like a fish already. It's halfway to being a fish. But why are birds laying eggs? You ask yourself that. It's because it's easy to mass produce, because when you're trying to print cameras and spread them across the world, they need to be mass producible. Echidnas lay eggs? That's not even a thing. Echidna? What, knuckles? Huh? What is that? Everyone knows what a hedgehog is. Everyone knows that Tails, he's like a fox. But what is an echidna? Huh? No one knows what one looks like. Listen, you have to trust me because I was a biology major. I was in the sauce and they were telling me these things and I was like, wait a minute. Hold on a second. They're putting things, I'm in chemistry class and he's like, the p-orbital works like this. P-orbital works like this. And I'm like, okay, who says? You're just saying stuff. I was just sitting there, you know? This is when I knew stuff wasn't adding up. Okay, I was sitting there in class and they're like, okay, here's like the, what is this called? Nucleus? Is that the nucleus, the middle? And like, normal is like this. But then they were like, okay, but then there's like this is S orbital, right? And they're like, P orbital is like this. And then I was taking notes and I remember this was the moment for me. Everyone was taking notes, okay? And I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean P orbital? And it's just like, oh, but this one is like this. And then like D orbital is like this, and I'm just like, well, you're just saying stuff. I had like my little chemistry packet and I was like, okay, yeah, and it's just full of information, right? And I'm like, you could just say whatever and we'd all take these notes and we get tested. I don't know. I'm not denying it. I'm not a denier, but part of me is like, who's to say this is how it is? And they're like, well, scientists, it's peer reviewed. Okay, so this guy says it and then this other guy says it, but how? I don't know. I mean, probably, but I don't know, man. It don't make no sense. This is a cladogram. Right? They're like, there's like a fish here, and there's like a crab, turtle, gerbil or something, and then you got like monkeys over here, and then like people, and then here are birds. I don't deny it. I'm not denying any of it. This is what always got me, okay? This is what I don't understand. There is literally a bug that looks exactly like a fucking stick. It looks exactly. When you zoom in on it, it's got the nuanced texture of a branch. The nuance is insane. It looks exactly like a stick. And then they say, you know, there's like a Punnett square, right? Right? There's like different combinations of alleles, and there's like a percentage chance of getting the thing, but they say they say that like this is how genes are inherited, okay? But you can't like there's no such thing as like adaptation. Like a giraffe's neck, it's because of the alleles, right? And the genes they pass on. Giraffe can't stretch its neck. A giraffe cannot stretch its neck to get a longer neck, right? Genes are passed on from the parents to the offspring, right? And the giraffes with the longer necks survive and they pass on their longer neck genes to their children. So then you're telling me if creatures cannot adapt themselves and change themselves, how does this stick bug look exactly like a stick? It makes no sense. So you're telling me there were just a bunch of bugs and there was one millions of years ago that just looks exactly like that by chance, exactly like a stick, and it passed its genes on? That don't make no sense to me. That can't be. Same thing with like the moths and their things look exactly like the birch. There is just happens to be a single stick bug that looks exactly like this branch. I refuse to believe it. There's no way it works like that. I can only believe it if the case is true that like creatures can adapt and change very slightly. Even a tiny percent of their DNA, they could change their physical appearance. And if they can change their appearance and it can be reflected in their genes, if you remember, it's like TC, TG, you know, there's like the different the strands of the DNA and there's different combinations, and I forget what it is. Like A can only be with G and C can only be with T. It doesn't make sense. I'm telling you. How does that make sense? A million years ago, there was just a moth that looks exactly like a tree and it just so happened to be like that and it passes genes on. It doesn't make sense. Or like the leaf bug, right? You're telling me there's a bug looks exactly like a fucking leaf, even down to the tiny little leafy veins. That has to be adaptation. But they told me that like there's no, you can't change your genes. You know, you can't physically adapt and change your DNA. It happens over millions of years. So you're telling me it can't, so it is possible. So I could like if I stretched my arms and I needed long arms to survive and I stretched my fucking arms, I could change my DNA by like a point, like a millionth, a billionth of my DNA could be changed and I could pass it down. Because that's the only way I could believe that evolution can occur like this. I get evolution in that, like, you know, I believe that like the DNA gets chosen and the ones with the best traits pass on their traits to their future generations. But we're talking about like this animal is slightly bigger and so it can make the species bigger in general. Or this creature has thick skin as opposed to one that doesn't survive, which has less thick skin. But once you get to the level of like, oh, well, this bug looks literally like a stick, this is where I'm like, but I don't understand that, you know, because when you're talking about traits, it's like taller, bigger, faster, but not like, oh, I literally look like a stick. How does that happen? So you're telling me that this is caused because originally they just looked like a normal bug. And you're telling me it's because there's just a random percent chance that a mutation occurs and the bug is like slightly skinnier. And then another mutation occurs and that skinny bug looks slightly brown. And then another random mutation occurs that makes the bug look slightly brown and also slightly textured. And that happens so many times that it ends up looking exactly like a stick. But for that to happen, how many years have things been a thing? If that was the case, it would have to be 30 million years or something. No. I'm not joining no voice chat. They're gonna speak poison into my brain, casting his hexes upon me. I can imagine like a stick bug is like something like this. And it's like brown, right? Like that makes sense to me. But you're talking about it literally is not discernible. It looks exactly like a stick. That's what's crazy to me. Like I could get it. I could understand if it just happened to, you know, skinny and brown and kind of, but we're talking it's segmented. It has like the texture of like wood. That's what's crazy to me. Just kidding. Get stick bugged, idiots. You think I believe that shit? Get stick bugged, dum-dums. You just got stick bugged. What if just like this clip went viral and I gained a strong, powerful audience and I became known as like the misinformation VTuber and they just fucking like rallied behind me? Just kidding. That's already Magnation. Got him.